Hey everybody, my name is Billy Melcher. Today we're going to be talking about whether or not there should be an assault weapons ban in the United States. I do not believe there should be an assault weapons ban. I believe that it's unconstitutional. And I also believe, more importantly, that it would be ineffective even if such a ban were to exist. After watching some of my peers' videos on this topic, I think the first area that everybody addresses is mass shootings. And although those are important, I think it's more important to first address some common misconceptions about assault rifles and what an assault weapons ban would look like. When many people think about assault rifles, I think the first thing that comes to mind is fully automatic machine guns. That is not what assault rifles are. Fully automatic weapons have been and are illegal in the United States. Assault rifles are semi-automatic rifles. Now, what does semi-automatic mean? Well, when you pull the trigger, one bullet comes out. So the idea that there are people out there with fully automatic machine guns is not true. Second, those who think about assault rifles on national scale, I think, may not know that background checks are already federally required. So in any state in the United States, to obtain a rifle or any weapon, you need to pass a firearm. That is, you need to pass a background check. So once again, the idea that people are out there buying machine guns unregulated is not true. So now that we have that understood, I think it's important to really think about what an assault weapons ban would look like. There are already 20 million assault rifles in circulation in the United States. So when we talk about banning assault rifles, what exactly do we mean? Do we mean making them illegal, effective the first of the year in 2024? And that means nobody can buy an assault rifle legally beginning next year. Well, what do we do with those 20 million rifles that are already out there? They're in circulation. They're in the hands of private citizens. Do we go collect them? Well, what about people who don't want to give up their guns? That would likely cause conflict. Do we offer a buyback program? Well, I guarantee you that most of those 20 million owners aren't going to want to give their guns back regardless of what you're paying them. So I think it's important, and I see a lot of politicians who advocate for an assault weapons ban. They gloss over what to do with those firearms that are already in circulation. Moreover, as technology continues to increase, ghost guns are becoming more and more popular. I work in law enforcement. I've seen ghost guns on the street all the time, and honestly, they're becoming more and more popular amongst criminals. Now, what are ghost guns? Well, many guns these days are made out of polymer, which is essentially high-quality plastic, rather than metal or steel. Now, ghost guns are 3D printed firearms that are made at home. Sure, people go and buy supplemental gun parts that are not regulated and do not require and should not require any kind of background check. They piece together a gun and they build in their garage, and now you have a fully functioning, unregistered, untraceable gun. An assault weapons ban, although it would make it impossible for law-abiding private citizens to buy assault rifles, would do nothing to affect the ghost gun market, which is becoming more and more preferred by criminals because they're easier to get. So on that reason alone, an assault weapons ban would only target private citizens and would not affect any kind of crime. Now let's talk about effectiveness. Let's say there is an assault weapons ban out there and it's illegal to buy an assault rifle. Would that really help gun violence? Would that help mass shootings? I don't believe it would. Why is that? Because people who are committing these crimes don't particularly care about whether or not something is legal or not. Gun-free zones is a great example of this. You see a lot of these mass shootings that take place at schools. Each one of those schools are labeled gun-free zones. There are signs in the parking lot. There are signs at school entrances saying it is illegal to carry a firearm in here unless you are an on-duty peace officer. Do you really think that school shooters see that on their way in and then think, oh, wait, I'm not supposed to carry a gun here, and turn around and go home? No, they don't, because they're committing a crime. Criminals do not care about the law. That's why they're criminals. So imposing an assault weapons ban to curb gun violence, it's illogical to think that these people who are committing gun violence are going to not do it because of the fact that something is illegal or it is illegal to possess an assault weapon. Another example is high-capacity magazines. States like California have instituted laws banning the capacity of 10 or more rounds in magazines for firearms. Not only has that been ineffective at reducing violence at all, but people have just found workarounds. People have made high-capacity magazines at home. People have 3D printed them. People have bought them from out of state and brought them in. All that law has done is prevent law-abiding gun owners from possessing high capacity quote unquote magazines. Another great example is all of the cities that already have extremely strict gun rules. California as a state, Los Angeles, San Francisco, look at Illinois, look at Chicago and New York City. All of these cities and some of these states have extremely strict gun laws. However, they account for a large majority of the gun violence. Why is that? Because criminals do not care about the law. If you're going to commit a crime, you're going to do it regardless of a sign or of a ban or of any other law that's intended to prevent you from doing so. So for those reasons, I don't think that an assault weapons ban would do anything to reduce gun violence, other than inhibit private citizens that are law-abiding who want to exercise their Second Amendment right. That brings us to the final issue, which we won't go too deep into, but I think it would be extremely likely that even if an assault weapons ban was passed, that the Supreme Court, especially today's Supreme Court, would shoot it down because of its unconstitutional grounds. The Second Amendment is designed to protect the citizens' rights to keep and bear arms, and that doesn't specify what type of arms. And the argument that when the Constitution was written, people were carrying muskets and not AR-15s goes out the window. That is illogical on so many different grounds, and of course, if they had AR-15s, they would be carrying them and they would include it in that. So that argument shouldn't even be made. But we'll stop it there today. I do think that there should be some other laws passed to address gun violence. However, I do not believe that an assault weapons ban would be effective at reducing gun violence.